Everything you've been told about cornering is backwards, and I mean that literally. Today I'm going to show you the 5 reverse pillars of cornering that are going to make you look like an absolute shredder on the trail. If you've been struggling with cornering for years, this video is going to be your breakthrough moment. You've tried dropping your outside foot, you've tried leaning in, you've tried body position after body position, and you still feel like you're fighting the bike through every turn. I was there too, but here's the thing. You've been building from the outside in when you need to be building from the inside out. Stay with me through all 5 of these because each one builds on the last, and by the end, cornering is going to click for you in a way that it's never done before. And here's why this matters. We've got a crash crisis in mountain biking right now, and I know this because the free training I made on the instinct activation method, it's solving this problem with riders worldwide. And if you're a riding fanatic and want to jump, drop, corner, shred like an absolute madman, I suggest you check out that training when you're done with this one. Now, reverse pillar number 1 is don't think about where you're going, think about what you're escaping. So this first one's going to sound a bit weird, but bear with me. Everyone tells you to look where you want to go, right? Look through the turn, vision is everything, all this stuff, and none of it's wrong. But here's what no one talks about. When you only focus on where you're going, your brain treats the corner like a destination, and destination makes us tense up because we're trying to get there. The reverse is instead, I want you to think about what you're escaping from. You're not cornering to the exit, you're cornering away from straightness. You're escaping this boring straight trajectory and you're getting out of the trajectory you were just on. Why this works is pretty wild, but when you shift your mental model from I need to get there to I'm leaving here, your body naturally loosens up. And think about it. When you're excited to leave somewhere, you're gonna move freely. When you're trying desperately to arrive somewhere and force it, you're locking up. Your body knows the difference. Here's what I want you to do. The next time you're approaching a corner, literally say in your head, I'm leaving this line. Don't think about the exit yet. Just focus on departing from the straight. It's kind of like Aikido. You're taking this energy that's sent to you and you're redirecting it, okay? Watch how your body starts naturally turning the flow in instead of trying to force it. And I get this sounds like some hippie nonsense until you try it. In fact, do what the pros do and actually self-analyze by filming yourself and you'll really see this work. Then you're going to send me a message being like, dude, what kind of witchcraft is this? So trust me on this one. Here's reverse pillar number 2. It's don't add pressure. We need to remove resistance instead. This one's going to mess with you a little bit. Conventional wisdom says you need to pressure the outside pedal, weight the bike, drive into the turn, all this aggressive stuff. And sure, at the highest levels, this is part of it, but for most riders, the advice makes you force the turn instead of allowing for the corner and allowing the bike to do the work for you. So what if instead of adding pressure, you just remove resistance to creating the shape of the bike that it needs to be in to corner? So in other words, what if cornering isn't about making something happen, it's about stopping yourself from preventing what wants to happen naturally? I get that's a mouthful, but the bike wants to corner. Seriously, I don't care if you have an old bike, a new bike, old geometry, new geometry, it's all designed to corner and it all works just fine. And we're the ones getting in the way. We tense up our arms, we brace and lock up our core, we death grip those bars. We're basically telling the bike, no, I got this. And then we wonder why it feels like a fight. So your homework is to find a mellow, super wide corner. Get your basic position, your feet level, your torso supported, the stuff from my other videos. But instead of thinking, hey, I need to lean the bike, think, I'm going to stop blocking the bike from leaning. Do a body scan as you approach the corner. Are your shoulders tight? Soften them up. Is your jaw clenched? Let it go. If you're white knuckling the grips, ease up. Really feel your body standing on your feet. You're not just adding anything, you're just removing the tension that's stopping the bike from tilting over. And again, I know this sounds like I'm about to start selling you some crystals and essential oils, but I promise you, this is legitimate technique. The fastest guys in the world, they're not forcing anything, they're in perfect flow of the bike because they've removed the resistance to the movement. Now, if this one is a bit of a struggle, the good news is that it's not your technique. That's your athleticism speaking. Riders who are following this movement here on the channel, who are flowing, they're linking corners together, they have 2 specific things I cover in depth in the video right here. I suggest you watch this one when you're done with the current one we're on now. I'll give you everything you need to fix it. Reverse pillar number 3 is don't commit to the turn, commit to recovery. This one's gonna sound controversial, but stick with me. Every coach tells you to commit to the turn, right? And that creates this all or nothing mentality where you're either fully committed or you're sketched out completely. So instead, If you committed to being able to recover, what would that be like? What if your confidence came from not believing nothing will go wrong, but from being in a state of balance where you can handle it when something does go wrong? Why this works is when you commit to the turn, you're making a prediction about the future and you're trying to fit your body and your bike into a mold. We're assuming the tires will grip, the trail will be smooth, nothing unexpected will happen, but the trail doesn't care about your predictions and what you're trying to do. The trail's gonna do what the trail's gonna do. And when you commit to being in a recovery state, you're preparing for this reality. You're staying dynamic. You're keeping your options open. And paradoxically, this makes you way faster and more confident because you're not riding scared. You're riding ready for anything that comes to you. Try this drill and practice this off the bike first. Stand in an open area and have somebody push you from different angles without warning, and close your eyes if you're really brave. Can you recover? Can you move your feet? Can you adjust your torso and stay balanced? Take this feeling to the bike. Start practicing entering corners with a mindset of I can handle whatever happens, rather than I hope nothing happens and locking the body up. This right here is the difference between intermediate riders and advanced riders. Intermediate riders are hoping nothing goes wrong and they're super concerned about their body position and rightness. And advanced riders are ready when something goes wrong. They create movement on the bike and they just roll with it a little bit. Reverse pillar number 4 is don't make yourself small, make room to move instead. Conventional cornering advice tells you get low, get compact, make yourself aerodynamic and small. And sure, that's part of racing. It can give you stability, but for most riders, this advice makes them collapse and they just freeze themselves into smallness without making room. Now, here's how to differentiate between getting low and staying open. It's by making sure that we don't crunch the body here. Instead, we want to open the sternum up so that we can breathe and support the torso using our core. We need to let that bike tilt and dive and maintain that mobility and that power. So in this way, your body becomes a 3-dimensional suspension and you can handle changes in any direction. Makes it a lot of fun. Here's a drill for you in a parking lot or a field. Practice tilting the bike side to side while keeping your torso relatively low, but focus on making room to move the bike. Now, can you feel how your range of motion really allows you to move? Can you feel how easy it is to breathe? That's what we want. Now, compare that to hunching over and just collapsing down. Do you feel the difference? One feels free and athletic, the other one feels cramped and kind of desperate. And yes, I know downhill racers get super low, but they've also got the fundamentals so dialed that they can maintain that openness even when they're compressed. Find that spot where you can make the most room to move the bike. Here's a pro tip for you. Surprise, you are not as low as you think you are. The best riders analyze this by taking game tape of themselves and review it. Do this. Go find out exactly how much room you made. Go see how low you really are on the bike. Now let's move on to reverse pillar number 5. Don't practice perfection, practice imperfection. Listen closely because this last one is a game changer. Most riders practice cornering by finding the perfect conditions, smooth trail, good weather, ideal corner, and then trying to nail the perfect technique over and over and over, and they get on a real trail with real conditions and it all falls apart. Now, you should practice perfect conditions to where you can't get it wrong anymore. However, the next level is found by practicing imperfect cornering. Practice sketchy cornering, practice recovering from bad cornering, practice making mistakes on purpose so you can learn how to fix them in real time. The reason this works is because perfect practice makes you perfect at perfect conditions. But mountain biking isn't ever perfect. It's rocks, roots, changing conditions, it's unexpected obstacles. If you only practice the ideal, you're building a skill that only works in the ideal. If you practice the messy, the sketchy, those oh crap moments, you build a skill that works everywhere. You become anti-fragile. You become someone who thrives in chaos instead of someone who only functions in order. And here's what I want you to do. This drill is going to get you to feel weird at first. Next time you're practicing cornering, deliberately enter some corners a little too fast. Enter some corners on the wrong line, enter some corners where you're slightly off balance, and then practice recovering. Here's a pro tip. Pick a spot on the trail where no matter what's going on, you're losing traction, you're a little out of balance, you commit to looking ahead and you put a cone down and at that spot, just look, but don't just look with your eyes, look with your head, look with your shoulders, look with your hips. This is how you build real skill, not by avoiding mistakes, but by learning how to dance with them. Not by preventing problems, but by solving them on the fly. This is what separates the riders who kind of look smooth from riders who look like they're just surviving. Here's a final pro tip for you. If you're saying, man, this all sounds great, but I need to see it, what do I do? And you're being a literal Larry, go back and watch this video again, but this time, don't listen to my words, just watch the riding footage. Watch how the bike moves underneath me, watch how the body stays relatively open, watch how nothing looks forced. Then compare that footage to riders who are struggling. Watch how they collapse down, how they force the bike, how everything looks like effort instead of flow. Let's bring them all together right now because they do build on each other in a really cool way. You approach a corner thinking about what you're escaping from. This loosens you up. Escape from that straight line, fall into the turn. Don't do that literally, just let gravity help you. You remove resistance instead of adding pressure. This lets the bike do its thing. You commit to recovery instead of the turn so much. This keeps you dynamic and ready. And you make the bike move instead of yourself. This maintains the power, the range of motion, and that grace on the bike. And when you practice in perfection, this makes you anti-fragile, allows you to handle the real stuff that's out there on the trail. Each one is going to feed into the next for you. And when you stack all 5 of these reverse pillars, you create a completely different relationship with cornering. It stops being something you do to the bike and something you allow to happen with the bike. And this is why you're going to start looking like a shredder, because shredders don't just look like they're working hard, they look like they're playing, they look free. Their bike is an extension of the body, and they've internalized that effortless reverse principle, whether they know it or not. And you know what's crazy? Most fast riders, they can't even explain what they're doing. They just say stuff like, I don't know, just feel it. Well, this is what they're feeling. They're feeling these reverse principles in action. They've just developed them intuitively over thousands of hours. But you don't need thousands of hours. You just need to practice these 5 things intentionally. Now, here's what I need from you. Hit that like button and share this with a riding friend or group. First one to do it gets a virtual high five and 300 extra testosterone points. You're gonna need them. Also, if you wanna dive deeper, check out the free webinar I put together for intermediate riders stuck on a skill plateau. And in it, I go over the instinct activation method to break skill plateaus in weeks, not years, and turn you into the rider you dream of being. It's been viewed over 250,000 times, so riders around the world are loving it. And if you wanna dive deeper into this stuff, I've got a whole library of videos breaking down every aspect of mountain biking techniques using these inside out principles. Check out the playlist up here. I'll see you on the next one.